You gotta give yourself.
So the newest episode.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So the newest episode of ZEZTZ just dropped, and apparently the solution to the current plot is restarting everything back to episode 1, which is great. Because if there is one thing fans love, it's realizing that the last 24 episodes they emotionally invested in were apparently just, I don't know, optional. So to be fair, the real question is actually, did ZEZTZ just reset the timeline? Or did the writers actually hit New Game Plus instead of continue? Today, we're going to talk about why the newest episode of ZEZTZ sends us all the way back to episode 1, what it means for the story, and whether this is actually, you know, the most polite way of the show saying we messed up earlier, or if it's a genius move, which is what I think it is.
Mm-hmm. This was like a video we wanted to do since the last stream where we literally watched episode 24 of ZEZTZ, where you came up with this really interesting concept, and I think you're right on the money here. This was probably planned from the get-go with just the names of the music and the openings to start with. Like, with Visions being the name of the last song, and then us getting a completely different song called Playback. It's very interesting, and I am annoyed I didn't get my video out where I talked about my theories on it, and I'm annoyed I didn't realize that it's called Visions. I just thought they were being like creative. I'm so upset.
They were just being creative, dude.
I thought they were just being creative.
So that's the thing. Like the theory I came up with is it's all about the fact that the song is called Visions.
Mm-hmm.
And next episode, when we go back to the start, that's going to be called Playback. So what I think Visions means for the storyline is that he wasn't sent back to episode 1. He had a premonition about and he dreamt, like he had a vision of what the future was going to be. And where he is in episode 1 now, he now has the chance to play it all back and fix all the mistakes he made along the way. So I think the whole point of the first 24 episodes were his vision. And now we get to do the next 24 episodes basically it'll probably be the next couple of episodes actually, but fixing everything and getting him back up to the modern day, where maybe everyone didn't die, and that's the major thing I think they're going to change. Is I think he's going to save 5, 6, and not.
I think he's definitely going to try and save everybody for sure, because that's just the character WAKU is. WAKU is very kind. Even when he gave up on his WAKU personality and went full 7, he still wanted to save Nem no matter what, and he wanted to save everybody. It just got really dramatic, didn't it? Those last couple episodes. Like, killing how many characters? So they killed Zero off, quote unquote, Zero. Then several episodes later, they killed off Nox and 5 and 6 and the lady. It's kind of crazy. But as you said earlier on, I don't think this is us necessarily losing 24 episodes of content that we've already got. Which is a shame, obviously, when they do something like this. But I think you're right on the money. It was on purpose. It's what they were doing from the get-go. And I'm excited, I guess. But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think many Kamen writers have done this.
I think is no, I don't know any that have done this.
To this extent, anyway.
I think of my theory is that obviously we just experienced his vision and all of that stuff didn't actually happen, but now he gets to do all the stuff for real. But there's a bunch of other theories and there's a bunch of other things that it could be. Mainly, most people think that it's not just like a vision, that he was in a dream world and now he's woken up from that dream world.
Yes.
What do you think of that theory?
I think there could be elements of layering. I know you've said in past reaction videos that you don't like the idea of them doing like a Matrix or what's the other movie? The one I always reference.
Oh, Inception.
Inception. I know or Paprika for those who know Paprika. But I know that you don't like that element. Goated film, yes. Not enough people talk about Paprika, genuinely. But
goat. Actual goat.
But I think it's an interesting concept. I don't think we've had that, as I said before, in Kamen Rider before, or in Super Sentai. It's a very interesting element. They've had this kind of story where they, at the very end of the series, they like do a wish and it gets rid of the world that we just had. But this feels like intentional. It feels halfway, and it's intriguing. The layering could be an interesting thing to play with. I like the idea of it, but at the same time, if it is just visions and he did just have a premonition and this is all just for him to come back and to save everybody, I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. But isn't there going to be like massive repercussions for this? Surely, right?
Well, yeah, this is the thing, right? So like clearly we see that WAKU in the trailer for the next episode, he remembers everything.
Yeah.
So it can't be one of those ones where it's like a memory wipe theory where like everyone's got their memory wiped and then and then he's the only one who didn't get his memory wiped and he gets to do it all again, because most of the people who would need their memory wiped are already dead in that world. So I don't think that it can be a memory wipe. There's also like the idea of it being a simulation. Obviously, that's not the theme of this show. So I think if it was a simulation, it may as well just be a dream.
Yeah.
But I think an interesting version of this is, instead of this like premonition destiny correction thing, which is what I believe it is the writers could have done something a little bit different with this, and the writers could have basically said that this is maybe part of his sleeper agent training. Ooh. That he got all these like memories of how all of this could plan out implanted into him and into his dreams, and this is why he's there, is because he has all the possibilities of how all this stuff could go in his head, implanted from his sleeper agent training. I don't think it's that, but I think that's a cool theory.
I don't know if you saw this, but I noticed it as I was going through footage for my Mother Knows Best edit thing. But one thing that I noticed was when Nem said "don't hurt her" and WAKU hesitated, the visions that we, like the psychedelic colors that we saw, that we found out it was the training for the sleeper agent stuff, that drained when she said that and he hesitated. It drained from him. The colors that were there, that we saw on the screens, went from really, really colorful down to white. And I was just like, ooh, okay. That's also imagery from the opening, is the colors coming in. Like, yeah. I'm so upset I didn't do the video sooner. I thought I had more time.
Well, let's look a little bit at the lyrics, and then we can sort of have a little look at what you originally thought, and maybe now with this new reveal that we can sort of have a look at what maybe this actually means. So, obviously, they start the song.
Which
and
is
it's
this
always
vision.
on a mission.
Always on a mission. It's that imagery as well of the colors coming in and going out again, which I thought was really, really cool. I'm watching on the side now so I could get it perfect.
But it's always on a mission, and then it says fortune or misfortune is up in the air. So that could be like a fate or destiny line. Like, we don't know where it's going at the moment, and then it's wild ambitions. All of a sudden things escalated, but it's easy peasy. Yeah, but don't worry, we've got this. Obviously,
something that I really want to add to this when we're discussing this is that all the missions, I think everybody knows this fact, but I've looked into this really like a huge amount. There's loads of like the mission statements up on the wall, like behind him as he's walking past, when he's talking about these like dreams and the missions and stuff. Like he goes to sleep, appears in front of the logo, and then these mission statements are going past, and like we have things like protect the VIP bride, which is obviously from episode 4, where they have to protect the VIP bride. Escape with all the prisoners was episode 6. Destroy the biological weapon, which was episode 8. Get back the national secrets, which was episode 10. So it was like all there. But this element was something I really wanted to talk about in my video, was that it continues throughout. As he walks past, things are hidden, like hidden from view, and you only get to see like some words or some elements. And I thought that was really interesting because obviously Code is trying to hide its real intentions, trying to hide identities. So from what I could work out, it carries on saying like hack the cybersecurity, infiltrate the core of the global companies, detoxify hazardous chemicals, steal the slush fund, which I was just like, slush fund? Why slush fund?
You know, they could all be in relation to taking down Code.
Yes. So interesting though, later on after Wild Ambitions, where it goes back to Wild Ambitions, it clears up a little bit. And some of the things I was trying to find, I now see. And it goes decipher the code, spread the information that benefits our side, clear out the snipers, identify the fortress's weak point, the fugitive, and I think it was like analyze the recordings, recruit a collaborator. It continues and it gets like quite extensive because it's talking about like spreading information that helps our side. It's intercepting transmissions, it's confidential messaging, it's analyze the recordings, disable the surveillance camera footage. It's like, what are we going into from now on? If this is the mission statements that I don't think connect to any episode we've had so far. So thank you for letting me say that, because I've been wanting to talk about that specifically for ages. Okay, I'm glad.
No, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I think the extra missions potentially could still happen. They could have been part of that timeline that he couldn't finish because, you know, he basically ran into a point where the premonition had to end because he like saw his own death.
There's 2 here I want to mention one more time. Accomplish the double intelligence and develop the nanomachines. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm so curious. And I hope that they come into
But we may never get them though.
I know.
That's the thing. We may never get them now.
That'd have been some cool episodes. Nanomachines and the slush fund. Justice for the slush fund.
True. We already got a nano thing there, right? We already went small.
I guess so. Maybe it is reference to that. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to cover on some of the lyrics because a bunch of them like say about like fortune. So past the sick of all the magic in the bit that basically says, yeah, I'm a Kamen Rider, I'm undercover. Then it says, the future's changing. I'm invincible in my waking mind. So the future's changing is like one of the biggest things that I took from this because it's like, oh, I can change the future. And how could someone change the future?
Changing.
They'd have to know.
They have to have visions. Oh my god.
So the idea that someone knows the future and they need to change it, obviously that's our main character. Obviously that's ZEZTZ. How would ZEZTZ know the future? He had a vision. And that's why I think this theme means that like all of that stuff that we just saw didn't even happen.
Yeah, true. Also, something that I do want to add to the visuals of that specifically is the fact that it's a kaleidoscope in the back. Kaleidoscope effect, where everything's changing, everything's very dreamlike, it's psychedelic, it's ethereal. It's very artistic as well. And everything's shifting, so every single time it could be something different. Like the future is, as it says, changing. I can't believe we didn't guess this earlier.
Well, I was gonna say also there's a bit right at the end that really, because you know you got all the shock to the ass and all that shit.
Yes.
But there's a bit right at the end, and I believe it's like the last lyrics that are said. It's like in the background you can hear some of the background stuff, and it says, "Start line calls to me, start your new story. start line calls to me, and then it says start your new life.
Ooh, yeah.
But the last line that said is it's to be continued, make it true and be the GOAT.
Be the GOAT. Weirdest
the
line.
Thing that really stands,
yeah.
the really thing that stands out to me there is make it true. As if like he needed to find a vision in which he won at the end of the day and make that one the true one.
I wonder how many
that gives me like pause to think of like maybe this isn't the only vision he's seen, maybe this isn't the only vision he will see, maybe the next episode we get is him having a bunch of visions and doing a Groundhog Day until he can figure out how he can make everyone survive.
You have no idea, but I really like the idea of Groundhog Day. I love that movie so much. If this does if this does turn out to be a Groundhog Day situation where it would make sense of the previews we saw last week, where 5 and 6 are arguing, they have the capsims, even though technically at that point in time, they wouldn't have been, well, 6 definitely didn't have her memories, so she wouldn't even be a part of Code yet. Well, she was part of Code, but not reborn, I guess. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But that would explain why they're so hectic and chaotic, arguing over the capsims. Maybe this is Baku going through it, being like, hey, you are Code, I need your help. And Code is like, wait a second. And it's them, their memories coming in. This could so easily be him trying to find the correct vision to move forward with.
Yeah. I think it might be that. And the reason I think it might be also him picking the future that he wants to like go ahead with is because the next one is called Playback.
Yeah.
As in like paused, rewind,
go
play.
forward again. Oh my god. Something that I do want to add to this theory that is building here is that going back to the line, the future's changing, I just checked my notes and I realized that in the kaleidoscope effect where you see him falling through the door, there's 2 different animations that are going around this kaleidoscope kind of like design. And it's one falling and then the other one's walking through and they're doing like the opposite motions where one is kind of like down here a bit and then the other one's up. So like there is 2 Bakus there. I always thought it was possibly like a 7 and a Baku thing, but no, it's Baku on different points, I guess. Like realizing that there's 2 different or multiple worlds, and it's the 2 Bakus, one from now and one from the reboot, I guess maybe. But like it's all different, and I love that. The future is different, and here's 2 different Bakus. How many other Bakus, or how many times are we gonna go through it? Probably multiple times. That's such a good point.
I hope it's multiple times. I think it would be cool. And what I think, here's my theory. Here's me going off again. By the way, Kezza Henshin channel. Thanks for letting me nerd out about Toku on you.
Thank you.
So Nox is in the poster, right? So Nox is back.
Yes, for sure.
But we also have Dawn and then Autumn. So here's my theory. We're getting Playback, we're getting Autumn. I think he keeps trying to solve all these issues by beating people up with Catastrum. And to finally get the future that he needs, he's going to learn a lesson. And that lesson is going to unlock a new nightmare for him to like channel. And that cool. Nightmare is going to be the Autumn night.
I do like that.
And I think like potentially like his Catastrum thing is going to be like, oh, I was just trying to do this with brute force. I was doing this in a chaotic way. I was doing this thing. What I really need is I need a plan. I need a mission. I need to be a spy. I need to be in order. I need to restore order to the timeline. And then I think that's where the Order captain's going to come in. And I think it's really cool. But also, we know that at the very least, if it's not time travel or if it's not a dream, these things definitely didn't happen, because why would not be in the poster when we know he died?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that may be the layer.
So he's going to stick
theory,
around.
But I don't know. I mean, considering how no one at all that died in the last couple episodes got flowers, that's a huge thing for you guys to think about in the comments. No one got flowers, and flowers is like the number one indicator if someone's leaving a show specifically. So, no one's dead. No one's confirmed dead anyway. Even though, like, it was gut-wrenching. It was horrific to watch. Like, just the fact that it was a real gun, I was just like, oh, I can't see this. This is horrific. But applause on the actors, though, as well. Applause to the actors, because I don't think we've really talked about this. The acting of 5 and 6 dying, that was crazy. And I'm so glad they're not technically gone. Like, I thought, because they were, like, alumni of Toku, that they would just bring in some actors that have been in it, in for a couple episodes, and then get rid of them. And that was the story. I'm really glad they're not just getting rid of them. But one thing that I've just noticed in more lyrics, new ideas in tow, I start up again. So each time, if we do go for this, like, Groundhog Day thing, and it keeps going round and round and round with all these different visions, new ideas in tow. So each time he has to come up with a new idea to make it work better or approach the situation in a different way. And he starts up again. He starts up the world again. He starts up the visions, and it's just him going through it again. Too precious to let go, to beat your past. Beat your past. You have to beat the future, go back to get a better future, which I think is interesting.
I do think it lends itself slightly to the time loop thing. I think, like, potentially this isn't the only vision he has had or will have. I think, like, him needing to defeat some sort of final boss type thing in order to, like, get the timeline back on track to a point where he's okay with continuing that specific future means that Dawn may be 0.
Yeah.
And I don't know, normally they introduce someone new, but I mean, 0 has just been introduced, really, if you think about it. We've only seen him in, like, one episode in his human form.
I love that people are like, who is this white guy in my Toku? And I was just like, that is 0, dude.
This, man?
That is 0, man. And it's so funny because
they absolutely should have made him the guy who plays Arranger and Zubat and Big One.
So true. But it is interesting, this Western approach that they are going for it, but it's obvious that they're trying to get more of a Western approach to it, which is, again, why I'm surprised that Gavan isn't on YouTube yet, if at all.
Yeah,
but
that's I think they're experimenting whether it's going to be, like, big across the seas and stuff, and I'm like, well, you're gonna want to hope that it is big across the seas, because you're getting rid of your multinational show for Metal Heroes, which I mean famously was only really popular in Japan and Brazil and, like, other Spanish-speaking countries.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but I do think that's enough for a worldwide release, honestly. But we'll see what they do with that.
Anyway,
as it goes to ZEZTZ,
sorry.
As it goes to ZEZTZ, I think the visions theory is really strong. I think the time loop theory for like how we're gonna continue the rest of ZEZTZ is pretty strong. I think when we see this, like, trailer coming up now, we're looking at it as if, like, these are all gonna be the same day. Like, he's gonna free 5 and 6 in the same day that he, like, has to beat Nox again, and he has to go save thing, and, like, this is all gonna be, like, one episode type thing. I think potentially this next episode could be a time loop episode where he's deciding, like, oh, if I release 5 and 6 early, will that change the timeline? Oh, if I save Nem early, will that release the timeline? If I do this, and I think he might be just trying stuff to try and find the future that works.
Coming up with new ideas, trying to beat the past. I mean, it's in the lyrics of the song, so it could so be honest. But, like, can we actually talk about this as well? The fact that, like, I don't think ever in all of Toku, like, occasionally we have, like, different songs for the different shows. Same show will only have one opening mostly. They'll have different visuals, like updating visuals as they go throughout the show. This is Kamen Rider, this is like just all general Toku. Only once or twice have I actually had experienced a show that is part of the Toku genre changed the opening completely. The last time I remember it happening was like Gojuja, and that was for a joke for the 6th Ranger coming in. But also the other example of this I can remember is literally Go Busters, and that's because the show did so badly in the first half that they thought that changing everything up and having a new song would make it more successful. I don't know if that was really effective, but that's why they were trying to rebuild it. I don't think Kamen Rider ZEZTZ is necessarily having a bad day. I think it's really popular. So
let's before we wrap this up, let's look at the idea that potentially this could just be the writer's panic.
Okay.
They could have just looked at the plot board, realized none of the arrows connected anymore, and just did, it just hit the panic button and went like, let's restart the show. It's like, they could have just started, a new save. You know what I mean? But are they really gonna do that? It has to still go somewhere from episode 1 then, and then you have half the amount of time to tell a good story.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they're just gonna restart it in its entirety. And I think, time travel, timeline collapse, dreams, maybe the protagonist is stuck in some sort of time loop. All really in series. But yeah, if the writers just panic and we had multiple plot lines, mysterious characters, and unresolved motivations, and we just killed them all off. I don't know that that's what happened there. I don't think that the strings were connecting to nothing. I think all the strings did connect to each other a bit. We still didn't know how, the lady and Zero connect, apart from the fact that she was number 2 at one point. Now that we know that, all of this timeline and this history that we could be learning about, but we send Baku into the past. I think the past is a big deal.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't think this is a narrative reset.
I think when shows like this do something as crazy as this, you always hope that it isn't for a crazy reason. It isn't for a business reason. And sometimes it is. As I said with Go Busters, it's literally the reason why they redid the opening. I don't know if that necessarily changed the narrative. However, I want to hope that ZEZTZ is just multi-layered, not in dream sequences, but it is just there's so much to discuss, there's so much mystery, and they do talk about the mystery in the lyrics of the song as well. How the mysteries are subliminal? Yeah, subliminal. And there is so much more to this, and I'm really excited to see. I'm going to miss the character developments we had with the other characters. With how close everybody got, and I have a feeling we're not going to.
That's going to be affected.
I think there's going to be characters that we can't be as close to anymore. The sister is not going to know about Baku's sevenness, but she's not going to know that he's a agent. Neither will the police department. They won't know he's an agent. Just think about it that way. All the people that he connected to help with their dreams that he met IRL, not in the dream sequences, all of those connections are gone as well. I feel like I'm going to miss the relationship of the policeman this is going to sound weird, appearing in his cupboard closet thing. I feel like we had such a tight-knit group that was so lovely. Obviously things happened, characters died, and those relationships were going to be muddied from that point. But was it really worth getting rid of those lovely relationships we did get? I hope we get them back, is all I'm saying. I trust Toei. They do good shows most of the time. So I am willing to trust them on this journey. Just please, can we have Nausicaa as a Kamen Rider? That's my final thing I want to mention. Because I thought this whole thing was them going up to replacing 5 and 6 so they can get revenge for Nausicaa and for
yeah, I thought that too.
Against not Otaka. But like then Otaka continued his spree, he died straight away, and then the others just went, oh, okay. Code is bad.
Yeah.
Yay, we'll do something. And then everybody died. So I'm like,
well, yeah, this is the thing also. There's one last thing I wanna push into this theory that I've been thinking about since we had this chat the other day, and it's good that actually we recorded it today because I only really formulated it properly in my head.
Cool.
So we don't know who the good guys and bad guys are really.
Yeah.
Like the lady, she's not great, clearly.
She's not great.
Zero doesn't seem good either.
No.
And like the only good guy we know really is ZEZTZ, and it seems that we revolve the whole world around ZEZTZ. We revolve around Baku and them, and in this way that, like, you know, narratively we know they're the only two solid, morally good people around. The idea that this is the thing that, like, ZEZTZ had this vision and now he can fix everything is a cool idea, but it also narratively relies on the fact that we're giving the hero a second chance. Yeah. What if the reset is part of the villain's plan? What if stuff happened that Zero didn't want to happen, or that Code didn't want to happen, and they know if they kill Baku, the timeline will reset?
Interesting. I mean, he did say at the end when Baku was about to be shot, when 7 was about to be shot, Zero said goodbye, as if to say goodbye to this timeline. It felt quite, it felt very unemotional. But maybe it's because he knew. Like, why would he give the time of day to a agent that has kind of corrupted and gone against the ruling? But if they go back in time, they can fix it. So maybe it was a bit more of an unemotional goodbye.
I think maybe there's like a secret key amongst all the people, like maybe Nox or 5 or 6 or any one of those people, maybe they're not supposed to die, whether they're for or against Code. Code's like, we can't lose them because they are like a secret key to unlocking them's powers or something like that. And then the moment that they die, you realize, or like Zero realizes, oh, that's the agent gone rogue, or AKA the timeline has altered in a way that we can't fix it from here. Now we need to shoot Baku. Now we need to send him back into the past because he needs to go and do this again and make sure this person doesn't die so we get our goal. There
is something there. Like, I could definitely see them. Maybe that's why the lady is so dangerous, because she can see like everybody's memories of what they've experienced. And maybe that she was part of that process. I don't know. Maybe that one, the lady edition there. It's just that there are elements that don't really make sense. Like, the lady, for some reason, is able to read minds. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it just because she's quirky? Why? Is it because she has a wider or more important role in the whole story? But also, what's to say that they don't do this again, though, as well? Think about that.
It's because she says she likes hiking and F1 on her dating profile. She's just really unique.
I'm quirky.
I'm so quirky.
God.
Sorry, women. That felt targeted.
It's fine. You're a man. No.
The male ego. Yeah, but I think that's all the theories I've got in me. But I'm just so intrigued, and obviously we're not going to know anything until the next episode. But I think there's a million Tokuyapsus in this once we get some answers. Because the moment we get an answer, there's going to be a million more questions, I guarantee.
We're going to be like, dude, we're going to talk about this now. So.
Yeah. This is for sure.
Anyway, thank you to you guys for listening to us Tokuyap again. That sounds cheesy.
Tell us what you think is happening.
Tell us what you guys think is happening. Thank you, Joel, for joining me again on another Tokuyapsu. It's okay. And we'll see you guys in the next Tokuyapsu, or in the next reaction, or next commentary video. We'll see.
We'll
We'll see what I do. Anyway, goodbye.
Janet.
Janya. I tried to wave and it didn't work. There we go. Cinema.
Keep it in editor.
No.